Hello, everyone, and welcome back for round three of this, the MTG Paper Legacy Discord's Tuesday night fight. Uh, I am McDiff if you are just joining us, and I am joined by the Beyond Sadistic. How you doing?
Preacher Beyond Sadistic. That's what they're calling me now. I'm doing amazing, Mike. Thank you so much for bringing us in. Yeah, I'm super stoked for this. You guys are in for a treat because Prez has been playing this for the last couple league matches that he's had, and holy crap, is this deck super dope. But Mike, better yet, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. I'm really excited to see probably the coolest deck I don't own in action tonight.
Yeah.
In High
Whoa,
Tide.
lost the camera.
Uh, so for those of you who don't know High Tide, as it is a kind of a weird deck, it's a mono blue storm deck, um, that is trying to win the game by blue suns zenithing your opponent into oblivion.
Or
Uh,
or tell him the alt win. Come on.
uh, well, the alt win in this situation is Aetherflux Reservoir, which
Yes.
is spicy.
And
Uh,
I have physically seen it in action multiple times do 1,000 damage. And then it's not an exaggeration. It's 1,000 damage.
um, so and then on the other side of the table, we've got Dingus Mingus Evan.
Yep.
Evan is on Mardu Pyromancer. And I think this is a really interesting matchup. Um, I think that, you know, Prez wants the two ships passing in a night sort of matchup for these. But he kind of needs to at least get to turn four, which Evan's deck is going to let him get to turn four.
Right.
Um, but it's also going to give a little bit of disruption along the way. There's the main board Inquisitions, there's the Cabal therapies, there is Thoughtseize,
Yeah. Absolutely.
all the different ways that uh, Dingus can rip apart Perez's hand.
Right. And that's
Um,
the big thing is I actually think for how Prez's deck is actually honestly really consistent. High Tide is a fantastic deck. Don't High Tide is kind of fallen out of favor or did fall out of favor for a while, but really it's become a pretty bonkers deck, especially with I can't think of the name. The combo
Sausage?
Thassa's Oracle, thank you. Uh
Okay.
because of Thassa's Oracle, other cards that can also allow you to mill yourself, make a bunch of mana, you can play infinite turns with High Tide. But Heaven's deck is literally wants to prey on a deck like this. And Mardu Pyromancer is not it's not something you see in Legacy all the time. It's more so it was a modern thing for quite a while, but this is a very powered up version of what a modern deck would be. I really think that he's going to do quite well against Press. Totally honest.
Yes, I agree. Um, uh, Mighty Penguin, yes. Prez plays Hercule's Recall in the board, um, which most of Prez's board in this situation is a oh, was that a Cunning Wish?
Uh,
Cunning Wish for um, I'm not sure what he Cunning Wished for. Turnabout,
Turnabout. I just saw.
which it is interesting. I do think since introduction of Karn so heavily into the meta and the loss of, um, which basically represented the loss of Candelabra.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it did get a little bit harder to play
So
because
there's going to be a high tide.
Prez is casting a high tide. That means he's going.
There's another high tide.
Yeah.
Storms 2.
Storms 2. He's 1 mana float. Whoa. Okay. So now those 2 islands tap for a time spiral.
Yep. Which is probably there's going to be a turnabout.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, yeah. He's not going to want a time spiral with the turnabout still locked up in his hand.
This is going to go very, very quickly. 8 blue
Yeah.
turnabout, 4 blue storm.
So intuition, this is most certainly going to show us 3 time spirals.
Storm counts 5 right now. With intuition. There's the time spiral.
Yep.
This deck, Kaiser, this deck is fast and it's consistent. I mean, I'll be totally honest. It's pretty impressive.
3 high tides.
I mean, granted, that's not a normal thing.
uh
Yeah, because
Prez
there's
showing 17 mana in the mana pool there.
17 blue.
So time spiral resolving.
Oh,
So yeah.
Mighty Penguin, you own this? Fantastic. Very cool.
Yeah.
Storm is 6 right now.
I love this deck. I wish I owned a playset of time spirals. I was just saying that to be on sadistic here before or in between matches.
Yeah.
If I owned the other 3,
Are you sure you don't have 2?
I might. That's really a horrible thing for me to say that
Yeah, but
I
you're
don't
in
know
the same
if
boat
I
I
own.
am.
So this is exactly what Prez is going to want to do here. Just cantrip,
Yep.
draw through as much of the deck as possible,
Yep. Storm's 8.
cast maximum high tides, and
There's an Narset.
cunning wish. The beautiful alt
Japanese.
art Narset from the Japanese War of the Spark packs.
Oh. Another time spiral.
And
17 mana
so,
backup.
um, what's interesting about time spiral is
23 floating mana.
uh, you want to cast this as nice mighty penguin. You want to cast time spiral as few times as possible, right? This isn't a card that you want. You want to draw a really good hand off of your first time spiral.
Yeah, but now with Narset out, Dingus draws nothing. He has no hand.
Oh,
Yeah, he's done.
I forgot about. Yeah, that's game. That's game.
Yeah, this is it. There's another high tide.
I forgot about Narset entirely. The minute it hit the table, I forgot about it.
You blanked your draws.
Jade, that's that's one of the most interesting things too. And it's even more interesting if you're playing high tide
There's Aether
against
Swarm.
another.
There's Aether Flux Reservoir right there.
Oh, didn't mean to
Storm
whistle
counts
into
12,
my
by the way.
mic. Oh, and there's a Palancron.
Yep.
That's uh GG's easy.
Oh yeah. 24 floating, 13 storm.
Infinite. Well, now there's infinite storm, infinite mana.
Yes. Yes. Because now he's just going to keep looping it and gain.
Infinite storm, infinite mana, infinite life.
He just shot him.
Yeah.
That's all. That is literally high tide in a nutshell. New high
That's
tide.
the way. That's the way she goes.
Yeah, that was literally boom.
So Prez's sideboard. Well, let's start with Evan's sideboard, actually.
Yes.
3 red Elemental Blasts, 2 Damping Sphere, 2 Liliana's Triumph, a Kaya Orzhov Usurper, 2 Plague Engineer, 1 Toxic Deluge, and 4 Leyline of the Void. What are you bringing in here?
Um.
So I think we can agree right off the top the Damping Spheres,
Yeah.
slam dunk.
The red elemental blasts and the damping spheres. I honestly think I bring.
Um, yeah, because I mean, we saw there Prez cast 4 High Tides.
Yes.
Um,
I mean, you could bring ley lines, I guess. But
that's what I was getting at. It's not. eh, It's such a bad draw.
it is. But if it's in your opening hand, I mean, that's like
Yeah.
that's money.
The other thing, yeah, because if Prez is intending on the shuffle of the high tides, um, that is going to make a big difference.
It would. I could see it. I just don't
But
know. He has nothing else in his board though. That
yeah, I do think I think damping spheres and the red blasts, absolutely.
those are key.
Anything else of everything else, I think Leyline's the only other consideration that I would have at least.
Yeah, and
Um,
honestly, I don't know if I bring them in. I really don't.
yeah, I don't know if I would either.
The fact that he can
But
easily he can easily Palancron untap. I mean, he's got so many different ways.
that's one of the how much do you sideboard? You don't want to risk overboarding.
Correct.
So Prez has mostly wish targets in his sideboard, so a lot of one ofs. But there's 1 Chain of Vapor, 1 Flusterstorm, 2 Grafdigger's Cage, 2 Surgical Extraction, 1 Brain Freeze, 1 Echoing Truth, 1 Hercule's Recall, 1 Back to Basics, 1 Blue Sun Zenith, 1 Meditate, and a Turnabout. Um,
What do you see coming?
Nothing.
I agree.
I think you just
I
run it
literally
back.
think you just steamrolled your opponent. I don't think Prez is going to be thinking about damping sphere. We don't see damping sphere enough in legacy for him to be like, oh, I wonder if he's going to
Even
have
then,
damping. But
yeah, I agree, Champagne. I just run it back.
yeah, the
Even
deck.
then, though, you just wish for any one of your spells that throws Damping Sphere back in Evan's hand.
Yes, I totally agree. Yeah, I completely agree. Surgical, you don't care. Brain freeze, don't care. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, Hercule's recall doesn't matter. Back to basics. I mean, you don't care. You're gonna play. You're gonna be so fast. Your opponent. It's not even gonna matter if they untap.
I do think what's going to make a
And
huge
most of this is
impact
wishboard
is,
anyway.
yeah. I do think what will make a huge impact is whether or not Evan has a lot of hand attack, hand disruption in the early game.
Right.
Uh, that's the way that you beat High Tide. You
And
shut them off of Storm and you just rip their hand apart.
right. And Mighty Penguin, one thing to remember is we have a lot of players, but our meta is very different than the MTGO meta. So we actually don't have a lot of tests. And
I feel like I've been playing against it somewhat regularly recently.
you played it against me.
Played against you
Yeah.
and at least 4 or 3 other people in the last week and a half.
Okay. So maybe. But then I see there's a Thoughtseize.
But
He did bring it back to basics in.
um,
Kind of
I do
interesting.
like that. I don't think we really saw any basics last game from
True.
Evan.
True.
What do you take here?
If I'm the opponent, I take the high tide or the time spiral, one of the two.
E.O. Mirolson. I tried.
Wow.
I tried.
I
Thanks for the
apologize
follow.
for Mike's pronunciation. Thank you so much
I
for hanging out. If
apologize
you
for
want to
my own
unfollow, by all
pronunciation.
means, I understand. No, I'm just kidding.
Um, yes, I agree though. You take the high tide.
Yeah, I would
I'm
agree.
so sorry.
Grove of the Burn Willows. There's a Pyromancer. Now comes the
Peasy.
pain, Prez. Elemental time. What are you gonna do? And in all honesty, all this cascade, that's if I don't know.
I think it is just another reason that the Cascade cards should have been banned one of the first 6 times that they broke the format.
Yeah.
But, um, it's just such a I mean, the Tybalt's Trickery is such a weird card,
Yeah, but I
right?
really like Tybalt's Trickery. I'll be totally
Me
honest. The
too.
fact that there's a red counterspell, I'm totally on board with that. Totally
I
cool with
like
that.
Tybalt's Trickery, and I think in a world where you're not cascading into it and casting it on your own spells to get an Emrakul,
Well,
I
that's
think
just
it's
it.
super cool.
But you know
Yeah.
darn well they knew that people were going to cast it on their own spells. Otherwise, it would say your opponent right on the card.
Yeah.
Right.
And then,
Yes,
while
yes,
the
Champagne red counterspell has been around for 23 years. My beta
um
red elemental blasts agree with you. But yes, I like that there is another one, not just a red. I like that it does it in a way that red, it's an impulsive counterspell. I really like that.
yeah. I would ask
Yeah, ask
WotC
for it.
to provide me something better than Lapse of Certainty, uh, in in white, though.
Right.
Uh, um, so we saw the Cabal Therapy taking the Back to Basics and the right?
Cabal therapy. Took back to
Back to Basics
basics.
and Brainstorm.
Yeah, a 2 mana lapse would be really nice for me. Totally.
Uh, Jade, I am well aware of Mana Tithe. I own multiple playsets of the card. It is my favorite card in my Pauper Cube.
I
It
used to
is the reason I draft white in my Pauper Cube.
so dampening spheres out. Pyromancer and an elemental's getting in.
I really like Evan's position at this point.
He's got a pretty good commanding spot here. Rez is going to cast a high tide or cunning wish.
Uh, grabbing an Echoing Truth, which
Yeah,
is
which is it allows him to bounce the token
yeah.
or the pyromancer.
Prez eating a lightning bolt here.
Their life total. No,
Uh,
I don't. Prez is at. Prez is at.
no, Prez is at 11. So Evan getting in.
So your Prez, you pull this echoing truth. You bounce tokens or you bounce the pyromancers.
So I think bouncing the Pyromancers
Or you
gets you an
take it.
extra turn, or you take it.
Wow. Okay. Third pyromancer.
Well, now you bounce the
Yep.
Pyromancers.
Oh, you bounce the damping sphere, and now you go to town.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah.
Nope. Or you scoop it up. All right, we're going to a game 3. Game 3.
So I know Champagne suggested a few. I'll let you.
Strass Daddy, thank you so much for the raid with the 6 viewers. Welcome, everybody. My name is Beyond Sadistic, and with me is Mick Diff. We are moderators for the MTGPL, the MTG Paper Legacy Discord. Exclamation mark Discord in the chat will get you a link to the Discord. We play a proxy-friendly Paper Legacy all day, every day, and this is our Tuesday fight night. Legacy Tuesday fight night. So
I
thank
got
you
you
to
screwed
all
up
you
on
guys.
that one now.
I know now you got me all screwed up. Strass Daddy, what were you streaming? What were you doing? Bill Collins, amazing name in the air tonight. Thank you so much for the follow. If I'm Prez, I honestly there's nothing that I changed sideboard wise. I think I was, although the back to basics, I still don't know if I'm. Strass Daddy was
Yeah,
playing 4-color Mavericks. Very cool. We were actually just talking about Mavericks.
Champagne said something a little while up in the chat that I don't necessarily disagree with now that I've seen Damping Sphere, and bringing in one of the pieces of Artifact Hate into the main.
Right.
So you've got 4 in the main and then 1 as a wish target.
Yeah, I could see that too. Although I do like the fact that he can hide all of those with a Cunning Wish.
Yeah.
Let's better have a Crackling Doom, or it's not Mardu. I totally agree. However, it does not. Although it does have the Triumph though, so it's pretty Mardu.
I really like the Triomes.
I actually do too. I'm a huge fan of them.
I invested pretty hard into the Triomes.
Got your stacks of thousands. You lay on them at night, roll around.
No, I got like 12. I bought about as many Triumphs as I did Plague Engineers. So somewhere in the like 10 to 30 range.
I'm not a speculator. I can't do it. If I like
Oh,
something, I'll buy a play
specking.
set of them. But turn 1 Graph Digger's Cage.
I'm gonna play with them.
So Prez leading off with a Graph Digger's Cage. Kind of interesting.
I wonder if that is
what is he wanting to stop with that?
Faithless Looting?
I have 12 Dominaria promo Llanowar elves. They're my best friends. Aw, Jade. And what you guys, for those guys of you that were not here, round 1 we had a Tokyo Eclipse was the name of the deck. It was like a red deck wins, like a mono red prison, Eldrazi type, with some thought nuts here. Against a red deck wins deck. That was really cool. And then for round 2, it was Dead Guy Ale versus Elves. So, and Elves got to go game 1, turn 2, kill, but Dead Guy Ale was just too much in the end. So there's a preordain. I don't know. What is he trying to stop with that? I really don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I mean, Cabal Therapy, I guess.
Yeah.
Punishing Fire? I guess Grove of the Burn Willows and Punishing Fire. That'll stop that.
I guess there's 3 targets then. Punishing Fire, Faithless Looting, Cabal Therapy.
Yeah. There's your Triome. All of its beautiful glory.
Yeah, that's the one big downside with the Triomes is you really want to be able to fetch them end step in a fast format like this if you're kind of not doing anything.
Right.
Having it in your hand is a pretty...
He's going to take the back to base.
Yeah.
Which is Prez is the best card that Prez could play. That almost completely shuts Dingus.
Yeah, he plays 2 swamps and 3 mountains.
Yeah, so he actually does have quite a few baits. We haven't seen them either. And that's going to take the high tide. The Prez is pretty much down to nothing. If he can land a threat and start going to town here, that might be his way out. We might actually see Mardu Pyromancer take a high tide down.
this is what I was saying earlier about Dingus really wants the hand hate starts.
Yeah.
He
Oh,
just needs to
absolutely.
tear Prez's hand apart. Um, because High Tide has a much harder time coming back. Unless Prez can get to turn 6 and peel a time spiral off the top.
True. Like Prez is going to fetch. Um, but if you're playing black, that's what you always really. There are very few. I mean, if that's your angle, then that's what you do. I know a lot of people say that discard is way worse than it has been, or that it ever has been, and the biggest thing is because so many of it's so every creature's got so much value when it enters the battlefield that taking stuff away from their hand really doesn't hurt as much as it used to, because they just top deck some ridiculous threat and then you're just in the same spot you were in. There's a Cabal Therapy.
You just name High Tide, right?
Oh,
Or do you name
Time Spiral or Palancron. Hunting Wish.
at this point? I don't even know because
There was
intuition.
Intuition.
Yeah,
And he names High Tide. Yeah, exactly, Kaiser. There's so much going on from your grave from Uro and Arcanist. Uro is he's going to lose that intuition now.
and he can't exactly use it because he'd lose whatever he went and got.
He is going to use it
I wonder if there's something that he just wants out of the deck.
or put into his graveyard.
Yeah. Well, I'm 3 islands.
There you go.
That is smart. He
That's very
cannot take
smart.
those. Because there is especially High Tide just wants to be hitting its land drops.
Oh, absolutely. He top decks a High Tide here. He really needs some another way to go off, but with Evan having no threat, this is even he can't really flashback the Cabal Therapy.
I mean, there's a reason that High Tide doesn't even play Mystic Sanctuary because you don't want to ever put yourself in a position where you're going to be losing lands.
Yeah, completely agree. All right, so Prez goes up to 20, Grove of the Birdwillows, and there's a Seasoned Pyromancer. What does Evan discard there? Table Spotter says, a Faithless Looting. He draws 2, gets 1 Elemental.
Yeah. So he must have been Hellbent then.
Yeah.
Or not Hellbent, but only had the
Almost.
Faceless Looting in hand. Yeah.
Now that Evan's got a threat, this might be a little bit more difficult for Prez.
Yeah.
Look at that. Is that an M21? Yeah. That's one of the showcase hands that they had.
Oh, that's one of the M21. That's the Chandra land from M21.
Yeah. I don't remember. I don't think they were called a showcase land.
No, they were the like themed lands or whatever because they were all matching. The blue one matched the Teferi,
Yeah.
and so on and so forth. The black the swamps were really pretty.
Oh yeah. From the Lily. There's a bolt to base. It's going to put him to 4. That.
HC Fox, I can tell you that Prez has played pretty much everything at this point.
Yeah. Although the funniest thing is, I would say Reanimator is probably the things he's played the least I've ever seen.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if I've seen him play Reanimator.
There's a Bedlam Reveler. That's a big boy. Never mind. Hardcast Force. To the graveyard with you, sir.
Yeah.
Pyromancer gets in. Prez is at 11. Prez is this is bad. I'm sorry, he's at 12. He needs
So
something right here, otherwise this Pyromancer is going to whittle him away. Yes, Prez plays Painter a lot, so that's where his graveyard organization comes from. He plays Strawberry Shortcake, as for many.
So Perez is probably just praying for Time Spiral at this point.
I would assume so.
He needs to refill his hand in order to be able to do anything.
Yep. There's another Pyromancer, so this is just gonna. Prez has got 2 cards in hand, and he's just gonna pass it back. And this is gonna put Prez. Oh, that's 5, isn't it? Pyromancers. There's another Bedlam.
Prez is at 4.
It was a swing for swing for 5 because Pyromancer's at 2.
I can tell you, Kaiser, that watching Perez play Painter is truly impressive.
Another season.
Well, I suppose that doesn't.
He's top
He
deck.
has to win. He has to win this turn.
He has to, or he has to find a way to stop his opponent from doing it. Oh no, Flusterstorm. Yeah, that was it. So Perez's Mardu Pyromancer is going to do its work and take down High Tide. Oh no, that's unfortunate. Although I with how amazing that first round showing was from this High Tide deck, just watching it get whittled away 2 games in a row, so bad. Well, that's how it goes. Sometimes.
Excellent showing from everybody tonight.
Oh yeah,
we saw some amazing red decks. We saw
that Tokyo
Mr.
Eclipse
Jack
list was super sick.
So spicy. We saw Mr. Jack Dax and Jade battle it out in a truly terrific showing from both of them as well.
And we got to see Jade go play her fastest game of Elves ever. Fastest game of Elves.
Which was impressive. That was an incredibly impressive game 1. It was fun to watch as an Elves player.
Yeah, I totally agree. And that's one of the best parts. That's one of the best parts about Legacy and us being able to do this is there's almost zero barrier to entry. So this is us being able to play any deck that you want to play, do anything that you want to do. You don't have to worry about reserve list cards. You don't have to worry about the cost. You get to just sleeve up what you want, print it off, full color proxy are welcome, and just enjoy yourself. That's really what it boils down.
Yeah, print something off and come on down.
Yeah, absolutely. ! Discord in the chat will get you a link. Please stop by, come hang out with us. You can play Legacy with us 24 hours a day. We're just shy of 2,000 members right now. So yeah, every member counts, every person that plays. We run a monthly league. This month we're a little under 100 players. Saturdays we have weekly challenges. Bi-monthly we have a Sunday event, which is in the Euro APAC region, and then we do our Tuesday Legacy Fight Nights. So
yeah, and hopefully we'll be announcing a new theme night soon.
Yep.
So please print something spicy up for that when we announce it, and come and play.
Absolutely. So again, my name is Beyond Sadistic, and go ahead.
And I'm McDiv.
Yes, you are. Mike, thank you so much for casting with me tonight. I always enjoy spending my Tuesday nights with you, sir.
Likewise.
I also enjoy spending my Tuesday nights with the rest of my Legacy friends. Thank you so much to Perez and Mr. Jackdex. Thank you so much to Rad Hazard for playing. He's the server owner. He hasn't played in months. And again, thank you to everybody else for hanging out. I hope you have a great rest of your Tuesday, and I hope you're brainstorming like yourself. We'll see you guys later. Have a great rest of your night.